Hello and welcome to another episode of Fred Atkins Presents Fred Atkins Interviews with Melbourne Comics People, presented by Fred Atkins and All Star Comics Melbourne. I was going to do a joke where I put up the All Star sign for a bit, but then I forgot about it, so we're not doing that today. Today we have Sarah Howell, the creator of many wonderful Melbourne comics and the operator of the Homecooked Comics Festival. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
For those that don't know, you make a lot of local Melbourne comics, and you read a lot of comics, hopefully.
Yes.
So what kind of comics did you first get into?
I didn't really read any comics when I was a kid. I started getting into comics when I went to university and I met other people who were reading comics, and that's kind of was my lead in. So my early stuff that I was reading in the 90s was, you know, the Sandman and the Max, and those kind of things. So it was the Max that really got me hooked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went from I know Vertigo and so Sandman and the Max are both Vertigo titles.
No, Max is Image.
Oh, it is Image.
Yes.
So was it ever Vertigo?
No.
No.
But it's in the same vein.
It's very similar.
Yeah, of that kind of culture
Sam
that
Keith's
was happening.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, Sam Keith did stuff for Vertigo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of that kind of slightly more independent, but still very mainstream kind of stuff. And was there any kind of
stuff that you could actually get hold of in Tasmania?
Yes.
So
Okay. Oh, that makes it much easier.
Yes. There wasn't a lot of access to, you know, American Splendor or anything in Tasmania. So.
Okay. So when did you first kind of come across that stuff? The American Splendor, the very independent, or the very famous independent stuff?
That's a good question. I guess, I became increasingly interested in comics, and I, you know, as I said, I had friends around me that were also, you know, very much into comics, and we were kind of starting to try and think about making comics, you know, and the only model we had was to look to the American market and such. So, you know, I just started buying previews.
Right.
And I would read previews every month because it was before the internet.
Yeah. All right. So you're always interested in making your own comics.
And
so
from that point on,
Yeah. Okay. And did you find it? I mean, nowadays, like very recently, it's much easier to get your own comics out. There's lots of different places like Sticky and places that will sell it, but even places that will help you make it. So back when you had started making your own comics, how accessible was that to you?
I guess it was still the same culture that, you know, the DIY culture. So I started hanging out with the Hobart Fringe Festival and became involved in their organisation. So I started meeting people who were making zines who were a little bit older than me, maybe, and so that kind of culture of making stuff happen because you're in Hobart and there's nothing else to do. And the local one of the local MPs was very, very supportive of the arts. He was the Shadow Minister of the Arts at the time, and he would let us come in and use his photocopier for free.
That's excellent.
So, you know, Simon Hanselman and Michael Hawkins and myself would all go in there and just run off stuff on the photocopier. So it was kind of, you know, kind of got a credit Duncan Kerr for being
very historical photocopier.
Yes.
That's excellent. So you started making your own stuff, and what kind of stuff did you start making? Because the kind of stuff that you're making now, I'd say it's slightly more historical, maybe biographic kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And is that the kind of stuff that you were always making?
No, that project is definitely like a very different project from the stuff I usually make.
Okay, did you used to start like making like the Max? You were trying to do that again?
I was just trying to think. Yeah, obviously, like the friends I was sort of hanging out with were sort of writery types, and they would kind of, you know, write up scripts, and I would kind of trying to come up with images. So some of them were kind of, I guess, you know, in that alternative vein of superhero genre stuff.
Okay.
Or genre stuff in general. So like an early one I did was kind of. It was kind of a dark take on like the Faraway Tree.
Oh right.
Like that was a story we were working on early on. So some of my early imagery was like that, and kind of inspired by artists like Andy Watson. But also I'm a big Blade the Immortal fan, so kind of more detailed backgrounds and stuff.
Okay, excellent.
So sort of dark alternative reality type stuff, I guess, was the stuff that I did early on, and then I guess, you know, I started hanging out with Lee Vigozzi, and we started putting projects together, and we curated the Darkwoods exhibition, which was a national touring exhibition of Australian comics. But that was more alternative stuff. So again, my interest in the more alternative stuff started to grow, and I started to be more confident in writing myself, and I started doing more silent comics that were more kind of alternative, kind of little thought experiments. And I also did a lot of autobio stuff at that time as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot in independent comics. You mentioned before American Splendor, and a lot of the stuff that we have back there is a lot of autobiographical stuff. And do you find it's particularly easy to write that kind of stuff? You have the stories there, and so it's easy to come up with what's going to happen, but do you find it's easy to actually put yourself out there like that?
No, it's not easy to write autobio in that you are being very revealing, and I think there's a lot of boring autobio out there because people hold back for those reasons, and those are good reasons, but makes for a boring story. But for me, I guess it's an easy in, the autobio. If you're someone who's, like me, who's a visual artist to start off with, and you're not confident as a writer, then you're like, well, I have these stories, they're already accessible to me, you know, so it's an easy way to gain your confidence as a writer. And
it's something that's kind of relatable to everyone. Everyone's had these kind of, these moments in their life, and then it's like, oh, I've also had this moment, and just put it out there.
And there's something about comics that lends itself particularly to autobio more than other forms, I think.
And so the stuff that you're doing now is not all of it's not all autobiographical stuff, but there is a lot of biographical stuff. And he did, I'm trying to remember that specifically, about the Prime Ministers of Australia. And you did one about Harold Holt.
Yeah, so the larger project that I've been working on is about Damien Ed Lyons, who is the first female federal MP. And she was the wife of Joseph Lyons, the Prime Minister during the Great Depression. So he's the first Prime Minister that dies in office. We had 3 Prime Ministers who've died in office.
Right.
So he's, so it's about her primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so do you find that that's been a kind of logical progression of the stuff that you've been working on, or is this kind of a little bit outside of that? I guess it's a logical progression of autobio work. A lot of people who end up doing non-fiction comics usually started off as autobio artists, I feel like. But I mean, directly prior to that, I'd done a piece that was kind of, strange creaturey people, in a silent comic, So I kind of swapped between, like the mini comic of the month piece I did was, again silent and just kind of a visual experiment with ink. So very, very loose narrative. So I kind of flip flop between the two, probably just for my own sanity. When you're doing kind of, the longer graphic novel, research heavy piece, it's nice to have the kind of experimental visual pieces to kind of, go back to. Excellent. And so you mentioned just then the Mini Comic of the Month Club, which is fantastic. And so it's a mini comic every month for a year. I think it's minicomicofthemonthclub.com.
Something like straightforward like that.
It's easy to find, and you should pick it up. If you're not, it's really fun.
The subscriptions, I think, open around September, I think.
Yes.
So, I think...
So you have just missed it.
Yes.
But you can get on it next year.
Yes.
However, moving on from that is the Homecooked Comics Festival. So all the Mini Comic of the Month Club, most of those people are in Melbourne comic scene somehow.
I don't think so. I think Andrew gets them from all over. Like, half the time I don't know who these people are in the Mini Comic of the Month Club.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them where I don't know where they're from, but, like, they have... If you go and look at their other stuff, there's a lot of local stuff as well.
Yeah, okay.
I know they do a lot of webcomic stuff.
Yeah, he's sourcing them primarily from the webcomic culture.
But from Homecooked Comics Festival, which you curate, organise?
Yeah, so I'm the festival director, and Clea Chiller is my partner in crime as the festival coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was started by... I forgot which city council it was.
Darabin City Council.
Yeah. So the Darabin City Council set up this festival sort
Yeah,
of
so
showcase
it was an
thing?
afternoon, you know, a youth event for
Yeah.
them, an afternoon of comic stuff.
Right. And so it's gone from an afternoon to the whole weekend, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So this year,
Yeah.
it feels like last year now.
Yeah, the 2015.
Yes,
Homecooked
the 2015 one was the first time we kind of expanded it out to more than that
Yeah.
afternoon. So we ran, we had an exhibition opening on the Friday night, and then we had some workshops and a drawing jam on the Saturday, and then we had the afternoon market on Sunday,
Yeah.
and some workshops around that as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, has that been you really pushing it? Are you kind of wanting it to get more out there and wanting it to be bigger and more available to everyone? So I know that you got in a few overseas artists this year.
So the advantage was, you know, we wanted to I guess up the stakes, and it was our agreement with Darebin City Council as well. They wanted to see it grow.
Yeah.
And so, you know, part of that was that we would bring in guests, and we were lucky enough for the 2015 to get extra funding from Arts Victoria, and we also did a crowdfund for the guests. This time round, you know, grant applications as they are, we don't have the same funding for this coming year, but we're still planning to do the sort of the 2-day program. Yeah, so we'll just shift in terms of what we do exactly.
Yeah.
You know, from year to year according to the budget as the arts, you know, funding goes.
Yes.
But yeah, but Darebin have been very supportive and are consistent with their support. Yeah, so again, we'll look to bring a couple of guests in and do a crowdfund for it. Yeah, and so yeah, when you got these guests, you want to make the most of them and have workshops.
Exactly, because I remember this year. Oh, now I've forgotten his name, which is awful because I met him.
Dylan.
No, the Italian man.
Well, maybe Thomas Campi.
Thank you.
Yes.
He came in and he did a drawing class on the Saturday morning, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
No. Around the.
Oh,
thing.
the sketching.
Yeah,
yes,
it was
sketching.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I was really lucky that I was able to go,
Mm.
and it was the kind of thing. So I hadn't seen a lot of the Homecooked Comics Festival before that, and being part of it like that was really fantastic. And then on Sunday, having the market there, it was so big and there were so many people there. There was so much so many new artists to see, and a lot of I was a little bit surprised because there was so much really fantastic stuff that I'd seen a lot of places, but I didn't know it was local Australian or even Melbourne stuff. So based on that, what would you say would be some interesting artists to follow now?
Oh, in terms of Melbourne artists?
Yeah.
Oh, that's putting me on the spot. I have to favour people.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking of because
I guess some of the ones that were the new artists that people weren't very aware of were things like the Fly the Colour Fantastica anthology.
Yeah.
They're illustrators, so they kind of came out of left field because they're not part of the usual comic scene. So yeah, sort of they call themselves post-anime.
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 That's the new genre I haven't heard of.
Yeah, so so it's sort of, you know, obviously they're grown up drawing manga, but they're not manga artists. If
right.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, beautiful anthology, that one. Don't know if you still can get a copy of it. Yeah, in terms of other artists that were kind of new, and the thing for me that's exciting is bringing in first-time creators. So we had a micro grants program where we offered printing to first-time comic makers. So there was.
And did you get a lot of people coming through there that had their kind of new and original ideas they wanted to get out?
Yeah, there was a reasonable number of applications. There was we had 4 artists in the end that tabled.
That's excellent.
And and so it's kids as well. So there was part of it. It was to have kids. So there was. A little boy called Alex who was very.
I think I remember I picked up his book. It's fantastic.
The guy who was stupid.
Yes.
Yes. So Alex, made a lot of friends that day. Yes.
Yeah, that is excellent. So going on from the MP who let you use his photocopier, now you are encouraging more people to use your photocopier. And to actually make books.
If I had a photocopier.
Yes. The theoretical photocopier.
We have a risograph at Squishface.
Okay.
But I think we've only got one drum of ink at the moment. It's black.
Okay.
So not very exciting. And it's just down the road from the Caldera Press, which are amazing with their risographs. So, you know.
Well, that's fantastic. And so you were talking about Squishface then, your... I can't remember the term for it. Interns? I don't know. No, that's not the right term.
Do we have interns? Is that
no,
what you're asking?
you're part of Squishface, sort of.
My colleagues?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're very influential in the Squishface scene. I don't know.
There's a Squishface scene. Yeah, so obviously we're a collective of cartoonists that have a shop front in Brunswick that you can come and visit and watch us draw, and we run events and drawing nights and
That's
stuff.
fantastic.
We've got a 4th birthday coming up on the 9th of January.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff of yours at Squishface and the Homecooked Comics Festival. Definitely get involved with that next time it comes around. Mini Comic of the Month Club. Is there any places specifically that we can find your work?
Sarah Howell. Projects.com. I'm about to update it. Haven't updated in a long time.
Don't worry, this will take a while to come out.
Okay,
so
alright, I can have it updated by then.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to update it before I go to Angoulême anyway. Homecooked you can find on facebook.com/Homecooked Comics.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, Sarah. And I think your baby, she's doing fine.
Yeah, she's getting hugs.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Fred.
Excellent.